I grew up all over, and when I mean all over, I mean really all over. I was born in New York, we moved to Wilmington, Delaware, then we moved to Boston, then I did junior high school in England. The idea was that my mother, who had grown up in South America, wanted us to all go to school where she had grown up. But when I was in junior high school, there was just too much political violence in Peru for me to go there. And so my mom said, look, your older brother got a chance to go to Peru, you may never get the chance. However, we're traveling in England with my father, because he was one of the directors of the Greater Boston Youth Symphony Orchestra. Not this director, but on the board of directors. And she said, if you want to go to school like your brother did overseas, you could go here. And I was like, all in, this is great. So I did junior high school in England. And for those who are familiar with the British system, I took my common entrance, but then I came back to Boston. And I did 9th grade in Boston, and I was in 10th grade. My mother said, things have calmed down in Peru. If you'd like to go to school in Lima, you could still do that. And my mother was, of course, very anxious to see us all get this experience of living where she had grown up. So I went down to Lima and essentially finished high school there. The thing is that the high school diploma in Lima, Peru doesn't necessarily translate back in the United States. So when I finished, I was coming back from Lima, heading back to Boston, and I landed in Miami. All planes back then all landed in Miami, no matter where you were coming from South America. And I have an aunt in Orlando, and she said, hey, Kerry, what are you going to do for college? And I was like, not sure. She goes, why don't you come visit me in Orlando? And she was a high school teacher. And she said, you know, if you decided you wanted to go to school in Florida and you got a high school diploma in Florida, you'd have in-state tuition. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. So I talked to my parents, and they said, sure. So I needed one class, and it's kind of interesting. So this is back in the late 70s, there was a required class, which was a holdover from the Cuban Missile Crisis. Everybody in school had to take a class in Florida called Americanism versus Communism. And so you had to learn the evils of communism. So I took that class and a couple others, because you're not going to just take one class in high school. Got my high school diploma in Orlando, which was now a U.S. official high school diploma, and went and checked out the University of Florida, Florida State, and I said, you know, I like the University of South Florida the most. I think I'm going to go there. So just randomly chose a university based on, I thought that the architecture was nice there. It was a new school. It didn't look like everything in New England with bricks and ivy. It just had this kind of fresh look, because the school only started in 1956. And so I chose to go there and did my college 4 years at the University of South Florida in Tampa.